Hey there, hi there, ho there, and a gracious good morning to you. Hello there. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast, where we endeavor to discuss the joy and excitement of U of L women's athletics. We've certainly had some things take place in the U of L women's athletic realm this week. I don't know about the joy and excitement in a couple of them, but they were taking place, so we will discuss them today and try to find that pearl in the oyster, as they say, or that silver lining in the cloud. But speaking of cloud, yeah, it's been kind of rainy here today, so it's a good thing we didn't host a regional in softball, right? Yep, 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 yep. We had a nice kind of a spirited pre-show discussion about the NCAA regional and their propensity to send us to Knoxville. But anyway, we'll get into that a little later on. Let's go ahead and introduce the guys that are on the format today in the show. We've got four in the house. And Daryl, I guess it's cleared up, so I guess Daryl is out playing golf today. I don't know.
It's going to be a soggy one on the course.
It's got to be wet. Those
Yeah.
greens are going to be slow, aren't they?
Pretty mushy when I took Rossi out this morning when we woke up.
Daryl playing in a golf tournament. I didn't read all the essentials on it today, but she's doing that today, so she won't be with us. But we still got Case, and we got Jeff, we got Jared, we got me, Paulie, all on the broadcast today. So that could be fun. We could have a good time with that. Let's catch up with the guys, shall we? Let's do this. We'll do it in reverse alphabetical order today. How's that, Case? You get to go last. We'll start with Jeff today. Jeff, what's going on, man?
Sleepy. I woke up and I have all my windows open and heard the soft rain outside, and that just really has made it hard to get going this morning. So, yeah, one of those days.
Yeah, I kind of looked at it this morning too, and I said, I got up at 7:34. Well, I won't go into the reasons why, but I did, and then looked out the window and go, man, this is dreary and gloomy, and I'm going back to bed, and I did. So
Yeah.
I understand perfectly what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know what it looked like, but it sounded just wonderful with just that soft rain sound. It was like, I don't want to get out of bed.
It's Saturday. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of us can do that. That's fine. That's good.
I felt like a third grader again. I don't want to get up. I don't want.
Your mom standing at the door rattling your lunchbox.
Yeah.
You have to go to school, Jeff. Nah. All right. Good deal on that. Also got Jared in the house today. Jared been busy all week long. What's going on, man?
Just kind of wrapping up the 22 to 23 sports season with the U of L baseball being the final home sport of the season going on today. So hopefully they'll get a win. They have to win and need some other things to happen for them to even make the ACC tournament. But also enjoying softball right now. I was glad to head out to the selection show last week to see the team and hoping to watch them bounce back today to get some wins.
Indeed, kind of a down year for Dan McDonald and the baseball team this year.
I was going to say, not a whole lot of joy and excitement there either.
But. Yeah, nothing to stand up and cheer about. What are they, like 13th out of the ACC schools that are playing?
They're
after giving up a 4-0 lead yesterday, my assumption is that they will win today and then get left out of the ACC tournament in agonizing fashion. But
I believe NC State has to beat Pitt today.
Correct. But if NC State loses, they're still in. So they have really no motivation to pick up the sweep, and Pittsburgh is playing to not get left out. So
Yep. So it's a not a good situation for baseball, but at least softball had a strong season and clearly on the rebuild, especially with a lot of young talent.
And then you got a great exclusive interview with Holly April yesterday, didn't you, Jared?
I sat and watched it. She certainly didn't want to talk to the media that were there, nor did she really want to talk to the media on Zoom. I'm like, I'm just going to sit here and keep my mouth shut and leave it be.
Sometimes it's just best to be a viewer, right? Yeah. I learned that early on in Holly's term here in Louisville that it probably wasn't going to be the best interview you're ever going to get with her after a loss. And then declined to do those ever since. So,
she's not one that's overly talkative and social after a loss, which is understandable.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we get it. I mean,
totally get it. Yeah.
you lost. But some coaches can overcome that and just kind of put on that face for a while. Speaking of that, real quick, Jared, I got a real nice communication with Arthur Albiro today.
How's Arthur doing?
He's doing great, and he's interested in us coming out there and talking to him about the great things going on with the swimming program.
I say let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll have to get some time to get down there and bring you along when you can get down there with me, and we'll line it up with him, and we'll get the whole thing on camera and talk to him, and then throw him in the pool afterwards, maybe to end the interview. Right?
He gets
Maybe
enough
he'll give
of
us some
that.
swim lessons.
Yeah. If they threw me in the pool, they'd immediately need to surround me with floaty devices, doodles and everything else. Because
They throw him in the pool quite a bit because they do it like when they win and stuff, and they win a lot. So,
well, he's got all 12 of his kids on the team, though, so that's
but
probably
yeah, that too.
a family. That's going on for sure. Case in the house as well. It's the case you were out walking around the soggy grounds this morning, didn't want to take your chipping wedge while you were walking the dog.
No, I would like to avoid chunking the backyard that I'm desperately trying to make grow grass instead of get rid of the grass.
Trouble getting the lawn planted out there?
We just have some bare spots. We have a weirdly graded yard, and then we had the remains of an old brick patio that had sunken in for the most part, as many will remember. My 700
get rid of all the bricks?
Yes, got rid of all the bricks, and we finally filled in the void that was where all the bricks had been. So seeded that, seeded some other areas in the yard that were bare, and the fresh, nice, expensive topsoil took the grass seed pretty well, but all the rest of it didn't. So we're getting there. Slowly.
You ever need one that'll grow real well for you, though, get zoysia.
Noted.
Yeah, you can get that at most golf courses, and they'll usually just give you a few plugs and say, all you need is a dozen of these, and they will take your backyard over in 2 years. And it's very nice grass. So.
It's good to know.
Something to know. Hey, as for me, just kind of an interesting week, I believe it or not, because I didn't have a single doctor's appointment this week. Was very happy about that, which means I got to sleep in on both Tuesday and Thursday. And then, of course, this morning sleeping in. Been kind of eventful in some other aspects. I've been, honestly, guys, I've been looking more at the University of Cincinnati. Not as fanship or, for me to change loyalties or anything, but them being a place where I might be able to receive a kidney transplant. I'm hearing wonderful things about what UC does up there in their transplant program. So I've started the initial grounds to talking with them a little bit and seeing possibly if I could add them to my transplant list along with Louisville and the University of Kentucky, where I'd got to say Kentucky's running second now, and Louisville was a distant third because I'm really mad at Louisville right now. That's another completely issue. And I won't get into that today. But
I was going to say, you could go out there and talk to Michelle Clark-Heard, but she's heading down Mississippi way.
Yeah, she's going down to, that would be our old buddy Sammy down there.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
He's recruiting all kinds of cool coaching, and other staff down there. So
start calling that Louisville South down there.
Yeah.
Although I think there is a Louisville, Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there is. There was a player. Now I can't recall where he was from. Football player who was from Louisville, Mississippi. I don't think he played for Louisville. I think that was part of the awkwardness.
So anyway, good for Sam. Bring them all in.
Yeah. Good for Sam. Good for her. Good for Michelle Clark-Heard.
And certainly she is a very, very good practice coach too. Had the opportunity to watch her when Walls was out of town a few years ago. She was running the team through practices, and she is a drill sergeant of Sergeant Carter capabilities. I mean, she is good, and she knows exactly what she wants them to do and how to do it. So good luck. Hope that they do well. As long as Mississippi State can beat Kentucky each year, I'll love them.
Right.
So get that done, Sam. Get that done for us. But other than that, so we'll get on in with some things. Scheduling and Twitter today, I just don't think there's much there. Is there, Case?
No, not really. I think as we've discussed, the calendar kind of wraps up As far as this, you've got the Tier Pro Series event going on. Continues through the rest of this week for swimming. Yep. Softball has a guaranteed game at 3:30 today. If they win that one, they will also play at 6. Those are the scheduled times, of course. They're dependent on the times of the other games, and all those games are on ESPN Plus today. So shell out your cash. I guess ESPN has, better things to show than postseason college sports. I don't know what in mid-May, but here we are.
It bothers me because why can't the ACC jump in and pick up a couple of these? Is it exclusive rights to the ESPN Family Networks case? What's going on there?
Well,
Yes,
ACC
but-
Network is part of that.
Right,
Well,
ESPN
that's
or
what I
ACC
thought.
Network
Yeah,
and SEC Network are both ESPN properties.
Right.
But I think ESPN, like the big company, has exclusive, I guess, right of refusal on the properties for the games, and also it's the last weekend of baseball regular season, so ACC Network and SEC Network and all the others probably showing those
that's
regular season series finales.
true there.
Whether that's it's kind of goofy, but that's just the way it is.
Regular season versus postseason. Come on, guys.
Yeah. But oh well. And it's probably also a thing of fairness for ESPN in their mind if they're just because an ESPN propertied team is hosting, like an SEC team or an ACC team. Northwestern is a host, UCLA is a host, Utah. Those aren't ESPN affiliated networks, and so they wouldn't be able to show those games on the ACC Network Extra or SEC Network Extra or whatever. So they force you to pay money instead.
I'm going to be the curmudgeon on this one. That's bollocks.
Well, sure. And I was also going to say that ESPN could also, there's nothing stopping them from making these available on ESPN 360 for free.
Exactly.
They're electing to make them ESPN Plus paid viewership, which is lame. Like, I don't know, that's just unfortunate. But yeah, that's where those are.
I think we send Jared down with his cell phone and let him do a Facebook podcast on it.
It's just a Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Would be fun.
If you leave now, you might make it.
The way Jared drives, no problem. I've ridden with him to Lexington and survived. And it's not a problem. Jared can get down there before they even get out to comb the field before the game, right? Okay.
Next week, Louisville lists the NCAA track outdoor preliminaries. I guess that would be for the last one was the ACC tournament. So track potentially heading to Jacksonville, or I guess they'd be heading to Jacksonville for prelims next weekend. They very aspirationally have the start of super regionals on for Thursday, May 25th. So best of luck for softball. That'd be very nice if they can make it out of this weekend. Even further aspirationally, they have the start of the Women's College World Series on June 1st, listed on the calendar. We'll see.
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, it's pretty much you got to keep winning. That's it.
That's just kind of, this is an event that would potentially be relevant.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Like we mentioned, pretty thin. Rowing actually lists the NCAA championships in Camden, New Jersey, but I don't imagine anyone from UofL qualified for that, so I don't know why they left it on the calendar.
I think we finished 7th overall, if I remember right.
As a team, but you can qualify as an individual boat too.
Yeah, but didn't they finish last in the grand final? I don't know.
Well, that depends upon the 4s, 6, 8s, 4s and 8s and whatever. And
yeah, because they only had the one in the ACC grand final, the 3v8.
Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah, we won the petite wins, but I don't know if those advance or not.
Yeah, I don't think those would.
Yeah,
I don't know. But we'll dig in. We'll know by next Friday.
Yeah.
If you check out the Cardinal Couple website every day for your daily column, you'll know by next Friday if rowing is participating in the NCAA championships in Camden, New Jersey. As for Twitter, though, I tweet as at Best Case Scenario. Paulie is at Cardinal Couple. Jeff is at Card Couple Radio. And at Jeff McAdams. Jared's at Mr. Anderson Jared. And Daryl is at Daryl Faust 4.
Stay in touch with all of us via those ways if you care to. We're always glad to answer any type of comments that you throw our way. And I don't know how many of you guys are on LinkedIn. Do any of you all do that at all?
Yeah, I'm on there.
Yeah, there's some always good stuff on there about people that you can talk with and have conversations with. I mean, I got my whole conversation started with our swimming coach, Arthur Albier, just by wishing him a happy birthday.
Yeah.
And he sent me back a really nice, like 2-paragraph answer. I guess a lot of people aren't wishing him happy birthday or something. I don't know. But he sent me back this nice 2-paragraph thing and inviting us to come out and get some great sports reporting news. So Jared and I are going to go out there one day on our trunks, and walk in. I'll have my, little noodle with me and my floaties and say, hey, coach, do you want to do this in the water or out?
Little arm inflatables on your arms.
My arm and yeah. Also, I'll have my rubber duck that
right.
I can float next to me, and I'll probably have like I don't know, a Muffet McGraw doll that I'll drown in the pool.
Yeah.
Enough of that nonsense. But anyway, yes,
yeah. We'll have you jump off that high platform there and see how it goes.
I think what we're going to have you do, Jared, is
what is that? 10 meters?
Yeah. Have campus, EMS right there to get me out of the water afterwards, because they would probably. Or we could have you jump in with an electronic device, Jared, and see what happens there.
Yeah.
Still plugged in. That might be kind of.
That'd be a little shocking.
Yeah, a very long extension cord to get to the top of the platform.
Yeah. Well, some of the new phones are water resistant to, probably those depths anyway.
I was just thinking like having him hold a toaster.
I think you meant like a toaster.
Yeah,
he was being a little aggressive there.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
A blender or something like that.
Yeah.
We like Jared's photos, and we like Jared himself. So
that's right.
He does a pretty good job, but I still want to see him cover a swimming event in the water with the teams. Just get in there, and if they're in the 50-yard freestyle, swim next to him, Jared. Ask them questions while it's going on.
Get a scuba tank and a GoPro, man.
Yeah, be like that UofL cheerleader.
Just slow down. I want to ask you something.
Yes, sadly, none of my camera equipment is waterproof.
Get you a GoPro. We can do that.
That's simply that we just get a Ziploc bag.
I was going to say, that sounds like a technicality, Jared. I don't know. You're trying to get out of this.
Just put your camera in a Ziploc bag and you're fine. Okay? No problem.
Now, I'll do that with my phone in the water, throw it in the Ziploc bag.
See, well, that's a good idea, too. I learned that years ago with my phone. That if you are going to take your phone, let's like say to a football game where it's raining all day, if you put it inside that Ziploc bag, you're in good shape. Nothing to worry about.
Just not go. My solution.
Well, this one was when Louisville football was actually good, and I wanted to be there.
Okay? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Just like what are these outdoor sports you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. This big thing that's across from the soccer field. What is that?
I go out to softball. That's outdoor. I mean, admittedly, I'm
in
the press box.
Yeah. He's roughing it too. Yeah. It's like they ask him if he wants water. He goes, nope, I'm a gamer. Nothing for me. But anyway, so once Jared finishes the 5-part sequence on the Holly April interviews, he's going to run them here exclusively at Cardinal Couple, and those should be fun. Make sure you remember that we are a PG-13 audience, Jared. Try to keep at as many curse words as possible on both parties' part, okay?
It's not going to be on my side. You're going to have to worry about.
Poor Holly's probably sitting down in Knoxville listening to us right now with her little list. Okay, Jared, no Christmas card. Holly, no Christmas card. No communication. Jeff never in the press box again for Jeff.
Paul's on the block list.
Yeah. I've been blocked.
Restraining order for Paul.
I've been ghosted. I've been everything else. Yeah.
Doesn't even know me.
If you even go on a campus, they're going to have like Josh Hurd escort me off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You can't go with.
I'm on the predetermined block list based on KFD.
She's just got a bunch of.
Told her.
Yeah, okay. And she's like one of the biggest coaches on campus too. So yeah, that extended. In fact, I got the phone call from Jeff Walters. Who is this Case Hoskins and why is he on my blacklist?
Yeah.
Do you know who he is, Paul? I'm like, oh yeah. Case is great. He's fine. He covers soccer for us until the fallout.
Right up until I asked one question, then I'm like, all right, I'll see you next season, coach.
Making friends as we go. Okay, let's move it on into some. I guess anything else you want to cover on that scheduling and Twitter case, anything like that?
I don't think so.
Any personal appearances coming up for you or anything that we need to
No.
know about?
No. Indy 500 next week, so that'll be fun.
You go. That's right. You traditionally go up each year, don't you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Are y'all gonna do the infield again?
I've never done the infield at the Indy 500 in my life.
Really?
No, I sit at in some primo seats, second from the top row, exit of turn one. It's
Wow.
Yeah.
good, nice spot.
He goes
to
the
enjoy
Jeff
race from.
McAdams route, climate control.
Yeah, no, that'd be nice, but
Yeah.
Up in the press box.
I do get the benefit of by the time the race starts, our seats are entirely in the shade, and I can
Oh,
watch
that's nice.
the people 2 rows in front of me get absolutely baked for the entire race while I just
Wait. Baked from the sun or baked from
Yeah,
from the
alcohol.
sun. Yes. Oh, yes, sorry. I mean, they imbibe plenty of other things to try
That's
to
what I
try to
figured.
ignore the sunburn, but
I've been told I did spend one Indianapolis 500 in the infield. Now I don't remember much about it because I was pretty much hammered when we went in, and then continued to hammer, as they might say, and passed out in somebody's van, and woke up later on in a parking lot, and I had no idea where I was.
I've only been to IMS once, and there were no drivers in the cars when I went. So,
how disappointing.
yeah,
There's a golf course up there.
It was quite fun. There was because it was the autonomous car challenge they did up there. Yeah, it was really fascinating to be there. But yeah,
should be a good time for you then, certainly. And go ahead and when you handicap this, give us some favorites, Case.
Well, we'll
I'll put
see
them up on Poly Picks.
after qualifying today, which is going to be extremely chaotic based on the random draw order yesterday. So should be a fun time to watch.
There you have it. We go spanning the world of sports for you. But, let's get a little bit into softball here, where the Cards were playing softball yesterday. It's they're down in Knoxville, Tennessee. They are in the regional down there. We were talking earlier about Louisville always ends up in Knoxville for softball in a regional. And that is one of the NCAA golden rules that are posted on the wall. If we are playing softball and Louisville is a team, they go to Knoxville. That's rule number 3, I think. We are in Knoxville again, down there with our good buddies Northern Kentucky, who will be facing today at 3:30, and also the IU Hoosiers. We all know IU. We played them earlier in the year where they doubled the run total on us. It was a little bit closer yesterday, though. Okay, so you had the write up on it, and give us an idea of what you saw and what you got out of this one.
Yeah, it was exciting. Actually turned on the game about 5 minutes late, which meant I missed a lot of Louisville's offensive output for most of the game there.
Is that the second pitch? I mean,
yeah, I turned it on there showing the replay of Otis's leadoff home run. I was like, oh, okay. I said Otis. And then Easton Lotus. Man, I hate that it's
right.
It's fun, and then it's not when you're trying to talk about it. But
Otis
Easton Lotus smoked one down the left field line, and then that was kind of the extent of Louisville's offensive output for most of the remainder of the game. But yeah, Louisville leads off with a home run. The question was answered during the top of the first. We didn't have to wait till the bottom of the first about which pitcher was going to start because they discussed it when Roby was at the plate, that she was not in the circle today, or yesterday, that is. So Zabala got the start, dinged around a bit in the first. Some good defensive effort kept it from getting really out of hand. Double play to end the inning. tied at 1, and then the second, ends with IU with a 2-1 lead, and then Zabala comes back, and as we discussed last week, susceptible to the meatball every once in a while. In this case, it was 2 to the heart of the order for IU. A home run that snuck over the wall in center, and then a home run that did no sneaking whatsoever. Almost went to the train tracks, it seemed like, out there. And
Over the scoreboard.
yeah, it was a bomb from her counterpart, no less, from Brianna Copeland, who, as if they needed to tell us that she completely obliterated the rest of her team in the weight room. I mean, you could see her, like, she's completely jacked, and then she hit a ball like that, and it was like, yeah, it seems like she's good in the weight room. But
I will say, as a brief story from the season, I will not say which team the visiting SID was from, but I don't know how it ended up that maybe she was coming as a sub, but Taylor Roby maybe went out to pitch, and this SID looks at her and goes, "Wait, she pitches too?"
great scouting job, SID.
Right? Yeah.
I see now at the end of the story why you didn't.
Well, I'm not saying the name.
throw her under the
Yeah.
bus. Yeah.
Who is this Roby you speak of?
Yeah.
Right.
It was an ACC team, so we'll narrow it down to
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
12 options.
That's
But
an
it's
even
for
worse scout.
Well,
Yeah.
we're leaving the ACC anyway, so forget them.
Yeah.
They don't know anything up there.
It's not like we haven't had Roby for many
6 years.
years
Yeah.
now.
She's the only player on the team who made Louisville's last NCAA tournament, which is kind of painful to say.
Yeah.
It's another quick interlude before you get on with that case. When
Yeah.
I was sitting with the FSU AD at a basketball game this winter, and he kind of looked over at me and he just said, "Haley Van List's pretty good, isn't she?"
Gee.
I'm just like, we just figured that out tonight. It was against you guys. This is the best game she's ever had in her life.
Should have said who.
Yeah.
Van Lith. It's not ringing a bell. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
Well, speaking of Taylor Roby, she entered for Zabala. After that one, Louisville was called for an error. I think they officially credited it to. I didn't look at the box score. It'll probably tell me here. Credited that error to Hess. Yeah. On a ground ball on Roby's first batter that she faced, pulled Hannah File off the bag. I don't think that it did. In retrospect, seems like maybe it was a makeup call because the toss from Zabala to end the second inning over to Hannah File was certainly questionable, and I wasn't sure that File kept her foot on the bag. But Louisville turned a double play immediately after that and got out of the inning for the Cards to head back to the bat. Taylor Roby led off because of some awkwardness by Corby Otis, which we can discuss in a little bit, and was hit by a pitch right on her pitching hand. So your ace comes in relief, and then she comes to the bat and then is right back in the bullpen trying to figure out if she's going to be able to pitch for the remainder of the game. Fortunately, she was able to come back in. She pitched the next 3 innings, didn't allow any runs. Good defensive play from the team behind her and from her. Good pitching to induce a lot of ground balls, pop outs. And then finally got around to the 6th. Taylor Roby led off that one with a home run. Tried to hit it to the same spot as Brianna Copeland. I don't think they said that she got close. The announcers did. I don't think it was really that close to to where Brianna Copeland hit that ball. But it didn't matter really how far she hit it. It was out of the field of play.
Vaguely left center.
Yeah, it was still left center. And then I think if you were looking at them on like a driving range, a golf driving range, you're like, wow, she hit it really far. And then you look at like the ball further up, and you're like, oh, okay. I think that's the situation we would have been in. But like I said, doesn't matter. End result is the same. Puts a run on the board for Louisville. Not able to get anything else out of it in the 6th. Copeland responded very well with a pair of strikeouts. And then in the top of the 7th, Louisville showed some more life. Vanessa Miller hit her first home run of the season. with a ball out to right field. Brought it to 1 for Louisville. Matty Grant comes in, gets a pinch hit walk with 1 out. Unfortunately, turning over the order, Cards weren't able to keep it going. 2 groundouts ended the game, 4-3 final, and Louisville plays in the second game this afternoon with a loss. So from here on out, it's it's a win or go home for the Cards. So I did get an answer, by the way, on the left on base question you had right before we started the show there, Paul. The box score is confusing because when you look at the batting totals, it tells you batters left on base, or it tells you runners left on base by batters, which is a total of 4. But Louisville did leave 5 runners on base because they ran themselves out of an inning. So 1 left on base when Corby Otis ran the Cards out of the inning in the 3rd. 1 left on base in the 7th, and then the Cards left the bases loaded in the 4th.
Well, I can think in the first inning, that wasn't Lotus left on base?
She was not. Double play.
Oh, okay. Double play got her out of that. Okay.
Yeah, I wrote about it in the article, and I mentioned it in our text chat.
Okay.
Roby's break out of the box in that first
inning.
Yeah,
that's right.
Was bad.
Waiting for permission to run to first base.
She is not a speedster. Come on.
I mean, not a speedster, but the ball was to the shortstop before the bat was off her shoulder.
I just don't think you can put her up against Casa Robinson in any type of sport event. She's not going to do so well. But hey, Jared, you and I were invited to talk to Holly after the game. I did not take up on the issue. I've interviewed Holly after a loss, and it is not a pleasurable thing. But you kind of listened in. Here's actually, I was reading the quote of what she had to say, and maybe you heard this or not. There are a lot of moments in every game, whether it's the regular season or postseason, that are winning moments, and we weren't able to come through today in some of those. We're working to have good at-bats to come through in those situations, and we just were not able to do that, and that's a tribute to what Indiana did today. I don't know if that was any part of what you heard or not, Jared, though. It's a pretty kind of vanilla, statement there.
Yeah, that's more of your just generic, we lost, we didn't execute as well as we had hoped. Yeah, like you said, very vanilla. I want to attribute more problems to the base running yesterday, actually. And in case hinted at it earlier, we had a situation there, runners on, I believe, first and second. Corby Otis gets picked off at second with too big of a lead following a pitch, and the catcher gunned her down. Obviously, not something you'd expect from Corby Otis. Maybe just like a little brain fart, didn't realize how far she was off. There's another situation where the bases were left loaded. However, the previous batter, I fully believe Hannah File had every chance to score there, but she slowed up getting to third and rounding third, and at that point couldn't go home. So a couple runners in scoring position that, maybe you need to just didn't have the awareness that you'd expect them to have and really hurt. But yeah, I mean, when you are having batters that are striking out or grounding out with the runners in scoring position, that certainly doesn't help your case either.
Yeah, those 2 errors really even more boneheaded than they seem. Like the Otis one comes after she just completed her. It actually ruined her perfect stolen base record. She was 22 for 22 after stealing second right before that, and then she's just asleep at second base with 2 outs. Like to get thrown behind in softball, like you're not allowed to leave the bag until the pitcher like throws the ball. So then you have such a lead that the catcher just throws down behind you. I mean, that was pretty inexcusable in my opinion. And then, Hannah File, I have a little bit of grace for it. Is definitely not an error you expect a 6th-tier player to make. With 2 outs, if you're the runner on second, it really doesn't matter what the ball is going to do. As soon as you hear the crack of the bat, it's head down and run. And she held up just briefly before realizing, oh, wait, I don't need to hold up. And, that was just enough. She was basically a third of the way to home before she realized she needed to come back or she was going to get thrown out. So Yeah, that one is pretty unfortunate too. Would have scored a run there in the fourth and um, kept the inning going. But
Well, it was
so
in
no.
the fourth inning, I think, that Roby got plunked, right?
Yeah. Roby's hit by pitch, or the hit by pitch for Roby led off that inning.
Yeah.
So you get Roby on first, Winkler pinch runs for her, Sarah Gordon, who had data forget yesterday, fouls out, file singles. So you got runners on first and second, one out. Daisy Hess fielder's choice, so runners on first and second, two out, and then the Michaela Hurst single, pinch hit single where File should have scored from second, and doesn't, so that loads the bases, and then Ali Alexander grounded out. So it was a hard hit ball, and Vanessa Miller actually almost beat the second baseman to second base, but not quite. And yeah, so that's what left the bases loaded. It's good, I guess, that they took so long to do that inning because it gave Taylor Roby plenty of time in the bullpen to get her hand ready to go back and pitch.
The winning pitcher for the Hoosiers was Copeland, who goes to 22-3 on the season. That's not bad. Good record for her. Jeff, she did enough things to win here. I think the one thing that really kind of bothers me about this, though, is the Cards, who have been huge offensively lately, just kind of really didn't show up except for a couple home runs yesterday. What do they got to do today?
Yeah, well, I mean, today they start out playing Northern Kentucky. That's not going to be quite as much of a challenge, I don't think. But you can credit some amount of disappearing offense like that to the opposing pitcher, right? Their pitches are what starts off the play, and if you can't make good contact with it because the ball is moving all over the place, they have different motions than what you're used to seeing. Yeah, that's a thing that happens. But they got to, hopefully, now that they've seen her a little bit more, they've been 2 games against them. If they come back up against the Hoosiers, they'll have a little bit more expectation of awareness of what to expect, and be able to be a little bit more ahead of the ball. This is a pretty good offensive team generally. They're not big ball mostly, but they do have done a better job this year of just passing the bat as they talk about it. They got to get back to that. Just get on base, just pass the bat, and things will happen from there. You just got to avoid some of the thinkers that we saw yesterday and be in better shape.
I like what Corby Otis had to say after this game, too, on how the team will bounce back to play again tomorrow. And this is just a sophomore, mind y'all, okay?
Mhm.
Because every day I think there is a new slate. It may not always be the best team that wins, it's the team that plays the best that day.
Mm-hmm.
She said, we got outplayed today. We didn't come through in the big moments that we needed to.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get that clutch hit when we needed to. It's just a mental reset.
Mm-hmm.
Back to it, win the next day, the next pitch, and go from there. That's pretty heavy stuff from a sophomore, okay?
Yeah, pretty aware, pretty self-aware.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely like the mindset. It reminds me, I was listening to a podcast earlier this week, and one of the hosts mentioned they were talking about Louisville basketball and expectations for the season, playing better. One of the hosts mentioned a lot of people have a lot of expectations of racing Louisville, the women's professional soccer team, and how they should at this stage feel like they should be ready to make the playoffs this year. They should be doing better. And he had asked one of the players how they felt about that, and she was like, I mean, we got breakfast at 8:30, film is at 9, training's at 10. We're not every day, we're not thinking about expectations on the season. We're doing a day-to-day thing, and that's how you need to approach it. And it's the same way with the remainder of this softball season. You have to continue winning. You're going to have to win 4 games to advance out of the regional, and you're going to have to beat at least one team that you will have already beaten, or you're going to have to beat a team twice to do it, either Tennessee or Indiana. And it's just kind of one of those things that, or either Indiana twice or Tennessee once and Indiana twice. It's a whole thing. It's convoluted and hard to say, but they can't think about that. You got NKU at 3:30. After that, if you win that, then you'll have the loser of the other game. But until you beat NKU, there's no point in worrying about who you're going to play next. And until you beat whoever is Saturday night, there's no point in worrying about who you play on Sunday.
Hey, that's what it is. You win and you're in. If you don't win, you pack up your bags and go home. We do know NKU, Jared. We've played them twice this year. We ended a tournament that we had at Omer Stadium against them. I think we started that tournament against them too, if I remember correctly, sir.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I believe that was the opening weekend at Ulmer for Louisville while I was down in Greensboro with watching women's basketball play.
That's right.
I have not gotten a chance to see Northern Kentucky play in person this year.
You haven't missed anything. NKU finished the regular season 19-29.
Yeah, they didn't have a great regular season at all, but I think there's just one of those every once in a while your lower seeded teams are going to come through and win their conference tournament, and that's what happened. I believe in the KU was like the third or fourth seed in their conference and happened to come out with that win.
Still, Tennessee threw a no-hitter against them yesterday. Is that right?
Yeah, but I mean it's still tournament time. Yeah, so you don't know what Northern Kentucky's gonna do. They're coming out firing too. I mean, their backs are against the wall. They haven't really had a great season, but they made the NCAA tournament, so they've got basically nothing to lose. While Louisville, being in for the first time since 2019, is really just trying to at least get a win in the regional, hopefully. And I'd like to see at least the win against Northern Kentucky. And I know you got to turn around and play about 35, 40 minutes after that one, and maybe by then will have loosened up and been a little more relaxed and ready to play the second game against whoever it may be.
A couple of notes that are kind of interesting as compared to the Cardinals here is that the Louisville's 3 home runs yesterday improved their season total to 61 as a team, and 2 more will tie the school record of 63, which was set back in the year of 2013. So if the Cards can put a couple out today, they tie the record. That's pretty cool. Roby has got 57 RBIs this season, 3 away from Marissa Becker's program best mark.
Most of that are her own home runs, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, she said definitely.
Almost half are her runs from home runs.
Yeah.
Like not even counting multiple run home runs, just her runs.
Easton Lotus is on a 12 or 11 game hitting streak, gang, and has reached safely on a hit or walk in 14 straight games so far. So that's a pretty cool stat right there.
Mm-hmm.
You got Easton. She's going to get on base for you. She's going to do that. Otis has scored 63 runs this year, and she is 1 run away from tying Melissa Ross' record back in 2009. Wow. Remember Melissa? She had scored 64 runs back in 2009. And of course, Corby just 1 run away from that. So that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, leadoff home run will tie that record for.
That's right. Maybe on the 4th pitch this time, so Case will be able to see it live. That would be great.
Look, Tennessee's fence appears to be a little close, and it didn't seem like the Vols had any issue taking NKU yard yesterday. So Louisville should just try that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where that softball field is in correlation to where they play football at down at UT.
That's a good question.
I think it might be over to past right field on further out, because there's a railroad track back there, right behind the
UT. Center.
There's a railroad track nearby. I kept hearing the chain horns.
Yeah, because just a minutia fact here. I actually walked that railroad track one time. No, I wasn't running away from Sonia or home or anything. We were leaving a UT football game down there where we'd gone down to see Louisville play UT, and got stuck way up in that far, far corner up there where they put Cardinal fans whenever we used to go down there to play lemon football. We'd parked a little further away from the stadium and I walked the railroad track to get back to my car. I don't remember a softball field though. They were many years ago, so inconsequential. Uh, I think one of the things that the Cards have to do today, and what I'd like to see them do today, is just kind of bounce back. You get sometimes, and I don't remember who said this. You got to tear off the rearview mirror. Just forget what happened. Okay, we're done with it. Old news. What we have to do is concentrate on the win today, and hopefully they can do that. Who's going to start this one out on the circle today, gang? Any ideas on that? Any guesses?
I think it's Zavala. But somebody else can talk first.
I'm actually in agreement with Case. I think you throw Zabala against a lesser team, a team that we've already seen and beaten this year. Try and ease her back into this regional because she kind of got rocked there in the first couple innings against Indiana. Because you beat Northern Kentucky, and I mean you got a lot of games left to play, hopefully, and you can't just ride Roby the rest of the way out there. So you need Zabala to feel comfortable out there. You know Roby's going to be comfortable in the circle, and then I wouldn't mind seeing if we could get maybe, switch stuff up. Cassie Grizzard's the only lefty pitcher on the team. I wouldn't mind throwing her out there just for an inning to give the opposing offense something different to look at. Maybe just second or third time through the lineup.
Sure, a little confidence. Love it. And maybe they'll get that done. But anyway, that's 3:30 today. We'll see how that turns out for the Cards. If they win, what did we say? It was a 6:30 game after that?
6:00.
6 o'clock game.
Yeah.
And
It's not going to start right at 6. Don't worry.
Well, you'd like
I
to
don't
see.
think there's any worry.
I think the bigger hindrance to that game starting at 6 is Tennessee and Indiana going
Yeah,
long.
right.
You'd like to see Louisville make short work of NKU and get a break. If they start that game at 3:30, if you can finish that in 5 quick innings, and then you can get a larger break than the half hour they've allotted. But we'll see.
What's the weather look like down there? Are they going to get the rain that we had this morning?
It's a good question. Hadn't looked at that either.
Yeah,
I've-
because
I-
that
I
obviously
looked up-
is a
I looked up
thing.
maps. I looked up maps to see where the softball stadium is, and it's nowhere near the baseball stadium. It's basically not even on campus. Their soccer field and their softball field are separated from campus by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 train tracks.
wow.
There's like a whole train depot between campus and those stadiums, which is definitely a choice
Yeah.
for them.
Well, yeah, I guess you could always rail in to play the Vols then, couldn't you?
I guess.
Instead of taking a bus or flying in. Say, now we're going to hop on this freighter. We'll be down there.
Hobo your way down.
You have to run fast to get in the box, girls. Hurry. Looking at some other things going on in the sports world.
There's a
We
chance
all
of
love-
rain today.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a chance of rain.
Mhm.
Okay, that's going to be great.
Always a potential factor, right?
Mhm.
Looking at the Louisville women's basketball program to kind of shift gears here. Marissa Russell, guess what she's going to do? She's going up to Canada to play in the senior women's national team training camp up there.
Nice.
Certainly no stranger to that before. She's done that a couple times before in her career at Louisville. Actually, I think it all started back when she was with the U21 team last year. They competed in that Global Jam tournament, if you'll remember that the Cards will actually be taking part in this year as a team. I think last year, who did we have in that thing for the United States? I can't remember the team, but they were kind of a mid-major. But this year, Louisville will be playing in the Global Jam as a unit. Now, which team will Melissa play for? That's the question. Will Marissa participate for us or Canada?
I would guess you would play for Canada, but I don't know that.
Yeah, something to remain to be seen, though, I would think to see, yeah. She was also with Canada in the 2022 World Cup that they played out in Japan. She was also on the FIBA national team on the AmeriCup in San Juan back in 21. And she was also an alternate for the Canadians women's basketball team in the Olympic Games but did not actually travel over. She was an alternate for that. So a lot of very nice honors there for Marissa Russell. And certainly, I think going to be Jared. She's got to be an integral part of this team next year because there are so many pieces we don't know the answer to, right?
Yeah, she's one of the few players on the team that's familiar with the Louisville program and the Jeff Walls system and how intense the defense is expected and how much he likes to run up and down the court. So, at this point, she's entering her senior year, which I believe she does have the COVID year of eligibility if she chooses to utilize it. We haven't really heard one way or another, but I think you need to look to her as a captain and a senior leader on this team this coming season.
Thinking so. The actual training camp she's going to be in is going to be from May 22nd to May 29th. And she's got to go up to Edmonton to do that up there as they give them a week to get ready to play in the FIBA World, Women's World Cup, AmeriCup 2023. They will actually play an exhibition game against Japan, which raises the question, will Narika be playing for the Japanese team? Gotta wonder.
Yeah, we haven't heard an announcement, but it's a possibility for sure.
Got a nice note from her on graduation that she was very grateful to have been able to come to the United States and graduate and go to school, and also appreciated the interviews that I had done with her. And that was pretty cool. I liked that. And I sent her back and I said, use a COVID year, ha ha. But I don't know. I don't know if she understood that or not. But anyway, June 2nd, they'll be playing the Japanese. And then after that, they'll be actually playing in the World Cup qualifying. So it could be fun to see which way Marissa goes. Does she play U.S.? Does she play Canada? And also to see actually how the Cards do. I would assume we're going to get some practice time in, obviously, for this guys starting in a couple of days, probably, since we're going to be the team that represents the United States up there in this tournament that they're going to have up there.
Yeah, I think that would be the reason that you want to get selected for this, especially if you're Jeff Walls and you're basically rebuilding your entire roster. You're going to get, outside of NCAA practice requirements, you're going to get some extra time to familiarize yourself. Like you mentioned, Louisville playing as the team. UK is playing as the men's team in that Global Jam tournament. And last season, you were right, it was a mid-major. VCU represented the
that's who it was, yeah.
US on the women's side. But
and
yeah, that's my guess is that's why you take it, is to get the free practice time.
Yeah.
They plan these several years in advance, right? If I'm not mistaken, on who the team is going to be that represents.
I'm not sure. They just announced it in April.
Because, anyway, in any event, it's so apropos, the Cards get to be that team and get that extra practice in with so many new pieces here.
Mm-hmm.
And do that, and that's certainly something I'm going to try to work out where we can do. I'll be talking with Matt, the SID for women's basketball, about us possibly doing some interviews on campus with some of the newer players that we're unfamiliar with, Jared. And what I'd like to do is maybe, if we can, arrange it where I can get you down there to actually film the event while I interview them.
Yeah, that'd be fun, especially if we could get a lot of them on the same day and make it like our own Cardinal Couple feature, unofficial media day type of event.
I think it'd be good. If I was thinking either I could get 2 at a time, because I think there's 6 coming in. If we could get 2 at a time, that'd be 3 appearances down there. I know we'd have to work around your work schedule on that and whatever things they got going on, and also whether they're going to be on campus or not too. That's another thing too. But all that to come up down the road, as I'll be talking with Matt a little bit. I've already put a bug in his ear about it. Let's see if he scratches and see what he says. Other things that are going on that we need to know about a little bit here, Jeff? Some volleyball news, I think.
Yeah, we got a couple of players that are going to be playing for the VNL Volleyball Nations League. It's an annual league that international play. We've got 2 former Cards representing the duo from a couple of years ago that everybody knew is Tori Dilfer Stringer. Now is her last name, and Anna Stevenson Hall is her last name now. Both married, and both going to be on the national team roster as part of that. This is a 4-week long event, and each country can submit a different actual playing roster for each week separately. So we may not see our players playing every week. But there's 30 players total on the roster.
Athletes Unlimited for national play.
Sort of, but I mean, you're still playing on the team. You still have set teams, but yeah, you can kind of shuffle up your active roster on who's there each week. So, yeah, some good news. They're both back in the States. They both played. Tori played in Puerto Rico, I think, and then Anna was playing in Italy for pro. So they're both back and playing here now and getting ready for that. Good stuff.
Excited to see what they'll be able to do as well. And then also the WNBA is back, and they're playing again. What originally started out as 5 Cardinals, looking like they would make rosters, no problem. Interesting move was pulled by the Washington Mystics, which I'm not real happy about, where they decided to cut both Jasmine Jones and Emily Eagsler on the same day to get down to a roster of 11 players. They don't go with 12 because of so many salary caps that they have and things like that for players like Elena Deladon and ones that make huge dollar. They choose to have just 11 players so they can meet the salary cap. Okay, fine, whatever. I didn't want to see either one of those girls cut, so that knocks down our participation in the WNBA to 3, where we have, of course, Dana playing for Chicago. Maisha is the lone Cardinal left on the Washington squad. And for $30, can you name for me the third Cardinal in the WNBA?
I thought there were 4.
Oh, Jeff is who's our fourth then?
Well, Liz Dixon made a last minute. Somebody's out on injury, so she's got.
Right, I thought Liz and AD are the two that Paulie didn't name.
Yeah, AD is the one I was thinking of, but I did not see the latest news on Liz. Where is she?
Hang on.
Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, it's like she's short term until somebody comes back from an injury, I think that's what it was.
Well, she was with Phoenix, right? Was it Phoenix that called her back in?
No, it wasn't Phoenix. I want to say it was like the Mystics, but I don't know.
Oh.
It was the Phoenix.
It was Phoenix? Okay.
Yes, Dixon has re-signed. This is yesterday. Dixon has re-signed with the Mercury via a player replacement contract. She has been re-signed with Megan Gustafson, Shea Petty, Sophie Cunningham, and Skylar Diggins-Smith, all unavailable to start the year. So I think that the way that player replacement contract is written, that as soon as one of those players is deemed medically eligible, then she would be removed from the rest.
Boy, it sounds like Phoenix is going to be playing catch between Britt Griner and Liz Dixon. You know,
yeah,
you throw it into me.
That's a lot of people out on injury.
You throw it into me, I'll bring it up, and then you go rebound after I shoot. Okay, let's see how we do against those 5. Yeah. But good for Liz. I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
I hope that she gets to stay for a little while anyway, and then perhaps they'll see enough in her where they'll say, you know what, we like you, Liz. Stick around. We're going to hold you on to it.
Always the hope, right?
There's got to be some kind of docile or something in the WNBA where they can hold on to a player because they like them a whole lot and bring them back in whenever they need them.
So much talk about how to expand the opportunity for players. So many people talking about 12 teams and 12 roster spots each. It's not enough for the level of basketball play in the States and others. Obviously you got players coming in from international as well. We really need to expand.
Yeah, there's no reason that they shouldn't have expanded roster. I mean, it's almost 40 more players if you just give everybody 3 more spots. I mean, you look at even like the NFL, there's 53 players on a game day roster. So if you want to make it so that teams can only have 12 players on a game day roster, but there's something like 60 that are actually rostered on the team, that you have just healthy scratches, injured reserve, stuff like that. The WNBA could implement stuff like that And you don't necessarily have to have 15 active players for every game, but expand the rosters to where, like Paul said, if you've got somebody you like, and you don't want somebody else to be able to snatch them up, but you don't need them for every game, you don't need them at that moment, they should still be able to be rostered. And expand
like
the salary cap to where at least a team can have freaking all the players they're supposed to have. Unlike the Mystics, who have to cut below the roster line.
And I even noticed that Maisha didn't even play last night in the season opener.
Yeah, she was in street clothes. I don't know what the full story is there, but
I think she's mad about Emily. So, you cut my buddy, I ain't gonna play.
She had some off-season medical stuff she was doing, so she may still be recovering some of that. So
well, they didn't need her, right? They smoked the Liberty.
They did win pretty easily, and that's surprising because the Liberty had built up this superstar roster according to them.
Yeah.
You know, with everybody's sweetheart Sabrina Onescu. I don't care for her at all. But anyway, yeah. So, all right, guys. Hey, the clock has rolled past the noon hour here, so let's go ahead and transmit ourselves into some final thoughts here. We'll stay with that reverse order like we did to start the show out here. So, Jeff, final thoughts.
Yeah, you know, we do our podcast. I wrote about this yesterday, but just a shout out to associate head coach Dan Meske of UofL Volleyball, who has also started a podcast. It's called Out of Rotation, and it looks to be interesting so far. There's only 2 or 3 episodes posted so far. I think another one's posting tomorrow. And first full episode was he was interviewing Raquel Lázaro, who was our setter last year, of course. It was and her journey through volleyball and through college and into the pros now. It's fascinating to hear her speak about what her background was coming through. And they're in the midst of a 2-part. Tomorrow's post will be the second part of a discussion with Chris Tice, who is the head coach at Marquette, about his, as I call it, grind through becoming a head coach, working up through the ranks of assistant coach and head coach, and where they're going to go with that on tomorrow's episode, I don't know yet, but it sounds like it's got some interesting possibilities there. If you're a volleyball fan, if you're not a volleyball fan, it may be a little much, but I certainly enjoyed listening to it. So I'll plug it.
And we did put up a link on Jeff's article too, where you can click on that
links to it. Yep.
As well. So yeah. It's maybe off season, but it's always fun to listen about volleyball stuff.
Yep.
Go ahead and give it a listen. See what's going on with it. What you got going on, Jared? Final thoughts.
Yeah, going to throw in a little plug for myself. The community ensemble I'm in, Louisville Winds, is playing our final concert of the season at Iroquois Amphitheater tonight, 7:30 p.m. Free admission. It's a true pops concert, so I'm sure you'll recognize plenty of it. As my schedule gets too crazy, it's going to be we'll say my retirement concert from Euphonium playing with the ensemble. Try and open up some more freedom with my schedule in the future. So looking forward to that. I'll probably just run straight from baseball to there for the most part.
And those are fun events. I'll tell the listeners if you all want to go to that, they're great. I went to go see them when they were at Mayo High School doing that a couple years back, and they were just fantastic. Really good music that you recognize and you like, and certainly if you like instruments that are horn based, you're going to get plenty of those there, and it's a very, very fun event to go to. So
great way to relax after celebrating some softball wins, or maybe wind down if softball doesn't win.
There you go. Very, very true. Case, what's up with you?
Yeah, just a shout out to an announcement that UofL made about some promotions of administrators, new assistant AD promotions. Specifically, one is Erica Fitzgerald, who was on the rowing team, graduated from UofL in 2010, and was on the UofL rowing team back then. She's now, after being the director of ticket operations.
Ticket sales. And stuff,
she was the director of ticket operations since 2012. She is now officially the assistant athletic director of tickets, membership, and services. So if you got an issue with your season tickets or any of your Cardinal Athletic Fund memberships or anything like that, she's the person to call. Or if you're mad at Ticketmaster, apparently she's the person to call because she was the liaison or is the liaison between UofL and Ticketmaster and other third-party partners.
That's a lot of hats to wear. I'm sure she'll also probably have some side stuff going on with NIL as well, probably, you would think. But
I don't know. They may have somebody special for that. I don't know.
Well, they get everybody that has to deal with, they got, I'm sure anybody that has to deal with NIL is in close coordination with one of the other new promotions, the Assistant AD of Compliance, Dan Morrissey.
Yeah.
you would sure think so,
You
wouldn't
would
you?
hope
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Or they could just be like LSU and throw $1 million at somebody and say, "Hey, here's some money for your NIL. Here's $1 million. Come on down."
If you just don't have an assistant athletic director of compliance, and NCAA comes calling, can you just be like, "Well, we didn't know we weren't in compliance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nobody told us."
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah,
That's
just
for sure.
I didn't know that was the rule.
Final thoughts on my end. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Louisville softball. I know we talked about them a lot earlier, but they also had 3 athletes who made the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association All Southeast Regional Team. It was announced by them. Sarah Gordon and Taylor Roby have been named to the second team, and Corby Otis was a third team selection. So nice honors for Cardinal softball in that Southeast region. Certainly, all 3 players have certainly given us a lot of thrills this year, and let's hope they give us one more big thrill today by winning their first game. Because I'm thinking, if they can win today, keep going. You win, you're in. Keep that up. But thank everybody for listening to us today. Everybody have a great day, whatever you decide to do. And as always, go Cards.